Hello everyone, this is Anne-Marie. Apologize about yesterday's video. Tough. Had a lot of trouble yesterday. Okay, and now we are taking a look at SPY. I was pretty excited to have a look at this. Now notice, I hope that you do have Woody's pivot points set up for yourself. I had the levels marked from my recommendations for the day, and as you can see, they came in pretty nicely, right? The first bounce off this level pushed it all the way up to here, well into the target that we suggested, 168.80, but actually pegged R3. That's why we want to look at these pivot points. They are so important. Here's something else incredible. See this big formation right here. Let's go back to the daily so that we can look at it properly. This is a completion. We might have to go to the week. Pick it all up. This is a completion of that extended ABCD pattern. I kept saying, wow, I just don't have any idea this thing will go that far. And wouldn't you know it, came right up into the space and then backed off significantly. Charts still look upside. Now here's the thing. A lot of people starting to say, okay, this is the top, this is the top, this is the top. Because we did sell off significantly. We did. No doubt about it. But here's the rule of thumb I want you to remember. I talk to folks about this all the time. Emotional candlesticks retrace. And that doesn't mean they retrace only if they're going up. They retrace whether they go up or down. And so let's take a look at a little bit of personality assessment of these particular candlesticks. This one right here, train wreck, right? Absolute ugliness, no doubt about it, right? This is an inside candle. This is another inside candle. That's why they're purple. Gray candles outside, purple candles inside. So we've got this expansion event. The day opens up nicely. Let's figure this out here. Yeah, the day opens up nicely. We've got the pop up with Bernanke speaking. It hits the R3 target, comes right into the top of this, close to the top of this target, close to the top of this target, and then immediately begins to retrace quite significantly, right? It comes down, it goes up, and then it fails. But notice this. This space, this has the most volume, certainly on the end of the day. This has pretty good volume too. But notice the temperament here of what's going on. Which candle is more bullish, or bearish, excuse me? And let's look at it a little more closely. Which of these candles is most bearish? Yeah, it'd be this one, right? It's got the greatest range of movement, and it closes closest to the bottom of its formation. Now, there are a lot of things. I'm not saying that the charts will not roll over. I really am not saying that. I'm not saying that this isn't the top, but what I am saying is that it's not time to go load the boat and just absolutely go short without a thought, right? It's just not that way. Candlesticks move in very specific spaces and ways and tell us a lot of things. And this one, very bullish, not as bullish. Even though the volume is increasing, the wicks are getting longer on the bottom, right? And look at this one, how it ends the day. The wick, right? It opens here, big steep candlestick, and then look at where it comes into, R3. Plot these Woody's pivots. Watch them. Charts behave very specifically at R3 and S3, R4 and S4. All right, so that's really important for us to watch. And we came and we've ended the day up above support level 2. We are also in between the weekly VWAP and the monthly VWAP. Now, here's the thing. right? It's been a while since we've seen this kind of sloping event during the day, right? It's been quite a while. We ran off 169 to 165, 4 ES points. Excuse me, 4 SPY points. I think we moved 15 ES points, frankly. Might have been more than that. Hang on a second. We went from... Oh, great. My system just died on me there. We moved a lot. I'll leave it like that. All right, so that's a very big dip. Look to the left. See this support action right here? Remember, I said, hey, listen, we could come all the way down to here and still not have any big sell-off events that are of consequence. So what's the trade today? Let's go down to the 30-minute chart so we can be a little bit more granular, and I will move these trading levels over just a bit. All right, we started lifting off the bottom. You can see that there. Buyers started trying to pick the bottom right there. They lost it here. Now they're trying to pick it right here. This is going to be mainline support. If it loses this level, there's going to be trouble today. And where it should run to is got a little trouble there. Close by, though. That's really pretty close by. Alright, and then if it loses there, it's got this range right here. Notice what we did. We filled a gap, right? That's what we did. We came down here and we filled this gap right here. Now we have a few gaps to the north, but this is our first gap fill event in quite some time. And so it came to the base of the gap and it's popping up. It's now at the top of the gap. All right? If it gets up over this congestion region right here, it's going to start running again. My thought is that it tries to get to this congestion level easily because it's already at the top of the gap, right? So the trade today is that at the breach of the high of this candlestick, which is 165.97, so above 166, let's move it. Above 166, you've got yourself a long. Into where? Top of this congestion region. After that, it could pop into here. Now, we've got some pretty good elevator shafts here, but really, my thought is we come to test the VWAP, the monthly VWAP. That's right down here. Do you see how this is right here? The bottom of this congestion event? So we could very easily test this VWAP action right here. Very easily. Alright, let's move this over. That's kind of crazy. Let's move it back here. Pull all these guys over. So here we are looking at downside targets for now. I don't think things will cascade, but I mean, they could come all the way down to here, the base of this gap. Here's the next base of this gap. Right here. And we'll just put it there as a reminder that that is the top of the next gap that we have at the beginning of May. All right. So these are pretty important levels on the downside. The upside, really pretty simple. You know what? I don't even know why I don't use my shortcuts. Silly. All right. So if it pops up over here and it clears this congestion event, it's going to go to S1. If it clears S1, it's going to test the pivot. No doubt about it. Going to test the prior day's pivot. Probably going to end up about here, frankly, before it starts thinking about moving around. Right? And then, again, if it starts running back to the upside, some kind of crazy thing. I don't really see this, but I am going to put these levels here because they are important regions for us to consider. All right? So those are the ranges that you need to look for SPY. IWM was the beauty. This thing, check this out. Drew this picture, I don't even remember when. Months and months. Months, it feels like. Feels like I've drawn it for months. This is a crab. I think I remember somebody on Twitter trying to argue with me about it not being a crab. But whatever, right? People argue with me on Twitter all the time. I guess they have nothing better to do. Not making good trades, so they're arguing on Twitter. Okay, anyways, that's my diatribe on Twitter chatter. Okay, so here it is, right? Here's this extended crab, and it powers out all the way up to here, and it almost pegs the level. I mean, it misses it by $100.38. It misses it by a penny, folks. And it comes all the way down here, and it loses the secondary level. Where's this going? You know what? I think it's going here. There's a lot of congestion here. And so if we take a look at, well, no, here's what we're going to do. Here's a gap. It came down almost to it, but didn't get there, right? Here are our levels that we marked. Went right up over them and into the top of this region, right? Again, R3 and S3. This one failed S3 tremendously. I think it's because the action was so tight. See how tight these pivot points are? Came into S4 and then rejected it quite handily. But let's think about where congestion regions are. So this chart actually really does have to fail this level here, 97.59, before it moves downward. And then there are two sloppy spaces. There's this one, and then there's this one's a little messy too, right? This one's sitting right on top of that monthly VWAP. What's the rule about traversing these things? If I crash through one, I should test the other. Everything looks really negative. That's how that looks. I don't really think we're rolling over, but we could have a couple of days of negative action. Guess what we're going to do? We're just going to follow the levels. If it breaks one area, we know the next likely area is to go here. Frankly, there is a stopping zone, interestingly, right here. That's where the gap fills. And so that puts things really close to each other, 10 cents. So my thought is, if it comes to the base of the gap, it probably will fill it. And if it fills it, that's where it's going to have the chance to pop just a bit. But in the end, I believe the target is right here at the base of this VWAP, the monthly VWAP event. Now let's take a look at what's going to happen for the upside here. All right, we've got congestion events right around here. That looks like the first major one. See, it filled a gap right here. Almost came into the second gap, but it certainly filled this gap easily, handily. So we're going to have to watch. Gosh, messy. Okay, there we go. Let's use these. We've got the next line of congestion right at the pivot of the prior day. So we'll have that. And then I think 99.60 still holds. And then we've got this one up here. So let's see how long these formations, how long these levels take to breach and break. But we've got them very, very clearly there for us to work with. Let's finally go to the Qs. Qs don't look nearly as clean as the other charts. They are still sitting. They are still sitting in the center zone, but notice right there on top of the target. Let's see what I had for regions. These target regions are pretty good. Let's go down here into the 1 hour chart. We know the gray area means that we are in the middle of a formation. So if you don't mind that hazing right there, it kind of bothers me, frankly. So let's change this just a little. Let's go back to the day. Let's not show the range. Okay. So, let's go back here. I know I'm being long and drawn out today. Maybe it's just because of the way my head feels. Okay, so here we are. That was the target that we had from the motion. And that still stays there as the base support, almost to the bottom here. Almost to the bottom. So this could be, ooh, the DPO inflecting even. Inflecting. Longer range SMIs not even out of the trending zone. Just barely outside the trending zone. This is very, very interesting. Same kind of pattern. A lot more bullish action right here. The biggest piece of volume sitting right there. We have a gap fill event taken care of right here. So that's actually going to be the platform. See if we get above, sorry. This region, I think, is going to be pretty important. So we're going to watch ourselves right there. This region remains important. Pivot action. Seems to be that level is more important. And let's see from the downside if we can pick a couple more downside targets just in case. My anal retentiveness has all kinds of troubles here when we start moving through places. All right, so now let's pick a lower target just in case we do have ourselves a little bit of a cascade. This region, that looks like something to be concerned about. And then finally, I don't know. This is very noisy here. I would guess that it's going to be down here at S4. This S4 level right here. But that would be very extended. This is one that I would say is in the obscure category for testing. All right, and then the last one up here, I'll put right there. Of course, you use those pivots. Watch them help you. These are the actual congestion regions of the charts. You can see how they match the pivots. And then watch the charts, right? Breaks a level, it goes to the next one. Look for the formations. Pay attention to whether you've got moving averages to support you beneath or above, but in the end, you know it's all about the price level, all right? Be careful trading today. It's going to be pretty interesting.